Yo, what's up? What's up? This is Double D's Let's Talk Ball podcast. We are your hosts, Damian Deshawn and D of D's Corner. We're tapping in with you today with the recap of last night's game and a look ahead to all of this weekend's games, pro and college. What's up, bro? How you
What's going
doing?
on, man? I'm
Not
doing
much,
good.
man.
Doing good.
Before we get started, let's make sure we let our viewers to know, let them know to like, share, and subscribe. Please do, please do, please do. Hit the thumbs up. It's easy, it's free, don't cost you a thing, and it helps us out a lot.
Yes,
Well, bro,
sir.
let's get into last night's game as we both touched offline. We didn't watch too much of the game. The expectations did come out with where we picked it. Um, Aaron looked okay. He
Yes.
had some little things, but he made some throws that was typical Aaron. I know there was one particular throw that
To
towards the
Lazard.
end zone. Yeah, that's any most quarterbacks. That's a pick six, running back the other way. But I mean, for whatever you want to say about Aaron off the field and his personality, I mean, he's one of the best to ever do it.
Right.
They were able to get 100 yards collectively between Braylon Allen and Brees Hall.
Mhm.
Uh, Of course, they got production from actually I'm looking at the stat line now. I see they use the tight end. He kind of uh what it got shared the wealth a little bit this game.
Right.
Um from what you saw of the game last night, what can you what's your analysis? What you got for us?
This is the Jets team. I don't want to. I don't want to make it seem like they're all world now, but this is the Jets team that I was anticipating week
Hmm.
one. You know,
Okay.
from the off season, my stance on the Jets was their defense was freaking great. It's been great. They have some phenomenal pieces. They did, however, have some injuries. Um,
Hmm.
but all they needed was better than the worst quarterback in the league because that's what they were able to win 7 games with Zach Wilson. So I still have faith that this team can be a playoff team,
Yeah.
especially when you look at how some of these teams have started. The Ravens being 0-2, the Bengals being 0-2, them two still having all their division games ahead of them. You
Yeah.
know the Jet they stay on pace. The Tua injury, you're already up
Yeah.
one game up on the Pats. They haven't played the Bills yet. The Bills are dealing with injuries of their own, but they're a different team now as well. So
Yeah.
we'll see because as you expect Keon and them to grow, you expect Mike Williams and them to get back to being, saying him to get
Yeah.
on a better rapport with Aaron Rodgers. So I liked what I saw. I saw Aaron make vintage Aaron throws against San Francisco.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal at being able to get somebody to jump outside and throw a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I think overall, again, like I stated during the offseason, I feel like the
Hmm.
Patriots in a year or two, they can be back to who they were.
Got you.
I like what
Understood.
Gerard. I like the discipline that Gerard Mayo has them playing with,
Yeah.
the physicality that they're playing with, and I love the fact that he's sitting May. May
Yeah.
made some plays during the preseason. We saw Caleb make plays during the preseason. We saw
Yeah.
Bo Nix make plays during the preseason.
Yeah.
Look how both of them have looked in 2 games. Bo Nix is already back to being both picks.
You
Already.
right, man. You right,
Already.
man.
So for what you
Uh
caught, what was yours? What was your take
um
on it?
My take was like similar to yours, more of the same. Saw some things on defense. I was going to speak a little bit more to the off the field contract with the Jets, with the situation with Jermaine
Riddick.
going down last week, getting Riddick in.
Riddick.
Yeah, getting
Got
Riddick
to.
in. Yeah, you got to get him in. You can see this. There's still a team that plays to the beat of their coach. They play for their coach.
Mhm.
You can tell they play. The Jets have more talent than the Raiders, but that same kind of thing that I've attached to the Raiders. You're going to be in a fight with them every game.
Right. Right.
They play with a attitude, the lunch pail kind of attitude for a bunch of
Absolutely.
millionaires. I like how they play. I think it's like you. There's enough talent, and the chips look to be falling exactly like you said. With Tua out, Buffalo's lost so much offensively, and then the Patriots in complete rebuild. The Jets can very well, win this division with everything that's been going on. I wouldn't be surprised. Preseason wise, I would have put them at least second. but with the Tua injury now, one
Yeah,
injury changes everything.
everything.
Yeah, I had Miami, the Jets, in Buffalo. So now I'm looking at it as the Jets. This is free fall now, and the Jets are in the
Yeah,
driver's seat. Yeah,
it's there for the taking. It's
it's there
definitely
for
there
the
for the taking.
taking.
Before we move into our picks, the one thing I
Yeah,
did want to touch on was the depth on their offensive line is now about to be tested because Morgan Moses went out,
yeah,
their right tackle that they traded with the Ravens. But
yes,
this is where the Olu Fashanu pick
uh-huh, comes into play.
is, is where
Yeah,
this comes into play. So
yep,
they the good thing about it is they have the depth now. And one thing about Aaron Rodgers, I'm looking at his stats. He was what 27 to 35, 281 and two touchdowns. It's
yeah,
been 24, 25 games since he's thrown for 300 yards or even gotten that close. But one thing
yeah,
he doesn't do is turn the football over.
yeah,
That's what we know about that. So he's going to always have you in position to win. So I think the Jets can still be a feisty team.
yeah. I agree, bro. All right, so I'm gonna bring up this first page, which shows last night's game, and we both were correct in picking that. So we'll move on. I'll do the first row, you do the next row, bro. Bears, Colts. Now I know you're probably wondering why I picked your team instead of the Bears, and you actually mentioned it. It's the inexperience. Both of them have inexperienced quarterbacks, but it's just I think there's still some pieces, and like you said, Bears had some key injuries at the receipt with some of their skill position players. I think the Colts still have enough talent that's still there, that's healthy. I know that you said their defensive line is a little banged up.
Yeah, it's banged up.
It's banged up pretty bad. I
Mm-hmm.
still like the Colts in this situation. I just think they still got it together. It's also some things that I would say that I'm not necessarily totally keen on with Caleb right now. He still thinks he's in college.
Yep.
We all saw the interaction off the field after the game with CJ Stroud, the
You did not touch
traditional.
on that neither.
Yeah, we never did. We didn't. So we kind of touch on it a little bit. It's some things that's concerning there. When you have, I wouldn't say it's a veteran to a rookie, but it's second year guy trying to give you
Yeah.
some tips on how to adjust, and you continue that arrogant mindset that kind of followed you.
It's a
But
sophomore to freshman talking.
yeah, sophomore to freshman. But some of the red tape that you could put on Caleb Williams kind of reared its head at the end of that game, other than his inexperience and still thinking playing games like he's in the backyard of college. That's really, I think, regardless of the injuries, the Colts are a button up team. They have the right kind of coaching staff, right things in place. So I think it'd be enough for them to win. That's why I picked them.
I went with the Bears, and the only reason is the last two teams that we played ran the ball down our throats, and
Hmm.
with our defensive line banged up, that's what I'm anticipating them doing with DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
I envision this game. Eberflus used to be our DC.
Hmm.
He's got a solid defense. Like you said,
Hmm.
both quarterbacks have inexperience. I think we'll be able to run the ball against them. But
Hmm.
if I'm the Bears, I'm going to take a little bit off of Caleb this week and literally run the ball, getting Swift and Herbert
Hmm.
25 and 10 touches apiece. So
Understood.
that's where I go there. I think it'll be a close game.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, as the fan in me, I hope the Colts win, but I have not been inspired by anything that I've seen of them the last 2 weeks.
Got you. Got you. Understood. All right, moving on. I mean, we can keep this one short. I think this is just this game between the Broncos and the Bucks is just better talent, experience all over the field versus not a lot of talent and not no experience at the most important position, which is the quarterback.
Both
Um,
picks.
I, Bo Picks. I really
That's all I got.
I got the yeah. We don't even have to stay on this long, bro. I got the Bucks taking these boys to school, man.
Yes.
I see this as a 35, if they lucky 35-10, 35-13 kind of game. If not, one of them Saints numbers, 45,
They can
17.
put
You know
up
what
some
I mean?
points. Yeah.
Yeah, they about to blitz these boys, man. There's nothing really to touch on with personnel or anything unless you have something that's interesting to add. But
No,
the
both picks.
Broncos are just going to be outclassed in this game. I think the Bucks run away with it easy. So we'll transition to the next game, and we both, not surprisingly, but interestingly enough, went with the Chargers. I think the Chargers secondary and their defense will test Fields. This is Fields' first defensive where he faces a defense that can really push him. And he's going to have to make more plays than he's made. He can continue to make the plays with his leg, but I think he's got to make plays with his arm,
Yep.
probably down the field, to be able to keep the Chargers honest and trying to run the football. I don't expect this to be a high scoring game because Pittsburgh's defense will. I think they'll kind of try to play against the strengths of the Chargers, which we know the Chargers coming in, which we said preseason, you exclusively said they're going to run the football. We know who their head coach is, so they're going to try to assert the run game. And I actually think that plays into Pittsburgh's hand on defense a little bit. But I still think the Chargers will put up enough points and be able to keep the Steelers off pace on offense to win the game. What about you?
The Steelers offense, if I'm not mistaken, let me double check before I say this, but I feel like they haven't scored a touchdown yet.
I don't think they may have scored one. Yeah, I think Darnell Washington scored one. May have been the last game. I know he caught his first touchdown.
Yeah, okay, that was the first touchdown. That was the first touchdown. So up until then, they won their week one matchup without scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that against the Chargers. I think this is still early in the season. Going into week 3, the Chargers defense is as healthy as it'll be.
Yes.
Bosa, Mack, Derwin James, Santi Samuel Jr. I just think that's going to be too much for Justin Fields. They're going to come in. They're going to stop the run. They're going to make Justin Fields beat them this game. And I just don't think for the praise, no matter how big or small you feel Justin's gotten in the first 2 weeks, after this game, I think he'll struggle. So after this game, it'll start being the Russell Wilson talks.
Yes.
He's starting to be healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
So I'm gonna take the bottom row. We got the Saints and the Eagles. To be honest with you, bro, I see why you went Saints. I considered going Saints, but I'm expecting the Eagles to bow their backs this game up there. I'm expecting them to respond after such a close loss to the Falcons. I know the Eagles are going to come in. They're going to try to run the ball. I mean, the Saints are going to come in. They're going to try to run the ball. I'm expecting and anticipating the Eagles defense showing up, starting to be what we think it could be or what some think it could be. I loved some of the plays that they made. That late fourth down stop by Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was a great play. That's just more so I'm thinking this is one of those games where they're going to be like, hey, let's do what we're supposed to do. What about you? So you got the Saints.
I went with the Saints for this reason. It's kind of the polar opposite of exactly what you just explained about the Eagles defense. They don't seem to have it together, like you said, and I don't think that they will get it together this week either. The Saints have proven to be able to light defenses up, even though it's been the Panthers and the Cowboys. I don't think they hit 44 this weekend. I think it tails back down to maybe about a 33.35 kind of range. I just think they got enough explosive weapons with Kamara and what they have. They just clicking. They came out the gate clicking on all cylinders. And as you said, it's a situation now that McVay kind of tree, the kind of system where you kind of plug them in and they're playing well on defense. They just been able to outscore. I just don't think the Eagles got enough continuity yet, and then some things that happened like with the Saquon drop that kind of pretty much sealed that game, but it really more so not just with what his drop, it was just the Philly defense being able to adjust to that scheme. I don't think this is a bad week for them to still be trying to figure it out.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I went with the Saints.
I'm anticipating the Saints not necessarily being fool's gold like we talked about. We did our last week picks.
Yeah.
Is this the week? I guess maybe that'll be it until like week 8 or something. Maybe that'll be my thoughts on it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
So next up we got the Browns and the Giants. So we're split on this one again. If I'm not mistaken, I just saw that Myles Garrett may not play, so I might want to jump my little icon up with the Giants. But both these quarterbacks are going to give you headaches. Both these quarterbacks are going to bother you if you're their fan.
Yeah.
I'm just anticipating the Browns defense to make one
More
more play than
plays.
the Giants.
And that's actually once again the opposite that I did. I said that the Giants will make just enough plays offensively,
Okay.
enough offensive plays to score. And I'm not gonna put no scored prediction
Yeah.
out, but it's
I
like a
think it's
field
gonna
goal
be
type
sign
game.
of snooze
Yeah,
fest.
it's gonna be a snooze fest, close game. Your typical low score, but I got the Giants edging them out. I think Daniel, this is one of them games where Daniel may be more effective running the ball in the
Right.
run, quarterback run game. I think the Giants will match some of the physicality that the Browns are bringing overall as a team.
Yeah.
And like you said, with Garrett, possibly not being in this game, that changes some of the dynamic also. I think the Browns are able to move the ball on the Giants. I just think the Giants are able to score enough points in a close game, and I just
Yeah.
chose them over that.
All right. So we both went the Packers over the Titans. I guess I'm gonna keep this quick and short.
Me too.
Will Levis. Enough
Oh my
said.
gosh,
Enough said. But no,
that's it.
honestly, I think the Titans defense, especially their defensive front, I think it's really, really solid. Continuity,
Mhm.
they're still all coming around all
Yes.
across the board. The Packers have more
Mhm.
continuity, even with Malik Willis. I'm expecting Josh
Mhm.
Jacobs to have a lot of carries, uh, and I'm expecting Will
Mhm.
Levis to make a bonehead play. So,
Yeah. That's the difference there. Levis is the difference in this
yep,
game. Uh, Tennessee, surprisingly, as a whole, is buttoned up.
yes,
With just an average level quarterback, they would be a really solid football team. But some good things to build around. They just have to get their quarterback. I don't trust
got to
Levis.
get it. Yep,
The mayonnaise eating, mayonnaise in his coffee. I can't trust you as a quarter.
right.
Period. Um, I mean, it's nothing else really to say. I think the Packers will use much more of the same formula that they used last weekend, running the football. Willis makes some timely throws when needed. Just be efficient. You ain't got to go out there and win the game. Just don't cost us the game. And that's it.
Yep. And to think, if I'm not mistaken, in Willis's first game in this system, because he's
Hmm.
similar. He's probably taller than Bryce,
Yeah.
but this is the system that I said Bryce would be able to be good at. Just be efficient.
Yeah.
Efficient. So next
Yep.
up, we got the Vikings and the Titans. We both took the Titans. I mean, the
Hmm.
Texans. We both took
Texans.
the Texans. Obviously, CJ Stroud, right now, they're looking like a phenomenal team. They did not play the Bears very well offensively, but the Bears, a lot of people sleep on their defense. They have a
Yeah.
really talented defense. I think the Vikings have a talented defense. I don't think it is as
Hmm.
talented enough to deal with what Houston is going to have. And Justin Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, is injured his hamstring, so he's doubtful to play. They're already
Yeah.
they're already without Hawkinson. They're already without Jordan Addison as well.
Hmm.
This now is where you see Sam Darnold return to Sam Darnold.
Man, we are right in the same place because my phrase for it was we're about to see the carriage turn back into the pumpkin
To the
here.
pumpkin. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. We in
About to
this
be
game in
midnight.
particular. Yeah, it's about to be midnight for real.
Yep.
They played above them. They played above themselves a little bit offensively. I won't say defensively, but offensively last week against the Niners. And like you said, you mentioned key injuries with players out. With this particular team that's young, hungry, ready to go. No, and I think they got something to, like you said, something to prove that last week against the Bears was just an admiration, not going to be the norm for them
Right.
offensively.
Right.
Yeah. Let me move on to the next slide. All right, we
Mhm.
got the Seahawks. We both took the Seahawks. Easiest thing to explain, man. We don't even have to beat a dead horse here. No Tua offensively for the Dolphins. They just signed. Didn't they just sign what Huntley off
Huntley,
of Ravens
Ravens
practice
practice squad.
squad? Yeah. Um, as you see, the Seahawks, they just a lunch pail team. They got they still have a lot of key pieces from a fringe playoff team intact. They have the right mindset and attitude to play well. You still got DK, you still got Lockett, and you got what's the name? Is it Mbuka?
And Jigba.
And Jigba,
Jackson
yeah.
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I don't know why I messed his name
Yeah.
up, but just not
I
enough
messed it up
pieces.
last week.
Now, to be honest, I think the Dolphins will keep it close for a little while. I
Yeah.
just think it's going to be too many three and out situations with their offense, and they still got some key injuries offensively too, other than Tua. That
Mhm.
gonna. I think it's in their running game.
Running game.
Yeah, it's a little banged up. I just suspect the Seahawks to win this game outright. I'm not saying blowout, but just an outright win. I don't
Right.
see the Dolphins being able to adjust after 1 week without Tua. What you got?
My bad. So yeah, I agree pretty much for the everything you just said. The
Mhm.
Dolphins are kind of banged up. The Seahawks are a younger team coach wise. Their defense is still feisty. They still have a nice solid secondary. They have DBs who can run.
Mhm.
Um, and they're those DBs they have are some matchup nightmares. I just don't think Miami has enough with the injuries, especially at quarterback. There's really
Mhm.
nothing behind Tua. I think Skylar Thompson is going to be the starter, and I'm not anticipating him being able to lead this team to a victory.
Yeah, exactly. We move on to the next game. Gritty attitude, coming off a high of highs, battling back against the Ravens to get that key win. We don't even have to beat. We know what this is. The
Right.
Panthers are the worst team in the league. They just benched their starter. They're going with a backup. They're probably one the most dysfunctional organization right now in the league. It's too many things against a team that's building and is putting pieces together. I think the Raiders win this shit in a rout, bro. I
Same
mean,
here.
yeah, I think they run away with this game easy. Running the
I could
ball, all more of what's his name? What's our boy name? More Brock.
Brock
Yeah,
Bowers.
Bowers. Yeah, he's gonna go off in this game. He's gonna have a field day. Him and Vontae Levante. I'm screw up the boy name, but go ahead, man.
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Devontae
Yeah,
Adams.
yeah,
I'm just screwing up names.
yeah. I think the same. I think that with this team, this Raiders team is going to play physical. Offensively, they're
Yes.
not going to have a lot, regardless of Andy Dalton being able to make more plays than Bryce just off of his experience and his time in the league,
Yeah.
his size and whatnot. But it's not like Andy Dalton's a savior. It's
Yeah.
not like Andy Dalton's savior. It's not like Andy Dalton's going to open up the run game and it's not. It's still going to be the Raiders.
Yeah. Not enough pieces, man. There's just too many holes on that team. But
Way
we'll
too
move.
many.
Yeah, we'll move on, man. We got the Niners and the Rams. Some things you alluded to in our previous show. The Rams got starting to have some injuries early on offense, and that's going to play a big role here. You know what? Puka Nakua is
And
out,
Cup.
right? Yep,
Cooper
and Cup
Cup.
are out, and it's a fine time for San Francisco to roll on the schedule now, coming off a loss after last week's loss to the Vikings. I'll be looking at a more focused San Francisco team here. Getting back
Yes.
to the basics. They're gonna run the fucking football. They're gonna be real physical. The Rams defense, as we know, it's got a lot of talented pieces, but young, real young. And I think this is that game where you could see the Niners really just run. I won't call it a blowout, but I just think that the Niners are really going to push the this line of scrimmage around in this game on both sides of the ball. I
Oh
think,
yes.
yeah, I think this is the game where you get like where I say you get one side or the other. You're going to get both sides this game where the Niners are just tapped in focus here and just playing their style of ball and win this game pretty easily.
Yeah. The Ravens have. I mean the Ravens. The Rams have issues offensively with the
Hmm.
offensive line health wise. Your two big guns and Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup are
Hmm.
out. Their defense is young. You're not really
Yep.
gonna have a lot to lean on. San Fran, I think San Fran should be able to route them. San Fran did not play very well against the Vikings last week.
Yeah.
So coming in with a short armed or under what's the damn word? That he ain't got enough weapons in his arsenal.
Yeah. Ain't got
Right
enough
now,
bullets.
Sean McVay does. So yeah, he
Yeah.
ain't got enough ammo. That's what I was looking for. So
I got
yeah,
Yeah. All right, man. This next pick, I ain't gonna lie. I was really, really, really on the fence about making this pick. uh, to our viewers, this wasn't a homer pick here. My biggest reasoning was I don't necessarily trust the Ravens' offensive line, and I don't think they have enough in this on their defense continuity isn't completely there just yet, and also offensively, outside of of Lamar and the situations, getting the ball to Derek, this would be the game ideally that you think that they would give the ball to Derek 20 times, 25 times,
They,
because we know the Giants are soft. I mean, the Cowboys are soft up the middle, on the line of scrimmage. Uh, I just went with the Cowboys because I just think that this is a bounce back situation for them. I think that they could be able to pressure Lamar enough defensively where I don't trust Baltimore to stick with the run enough. Where we saw them starting to get what's the name involved
Henry,
previously to the game. Yeah,
yeah,
they didn't get him involved a lot in game one. Game two, they did. It's just been some inconsistencies with them allowing him to, tote the rock and allowing Lamar to play more off of the run game instead of making Lamar the primary and then the run game complementary. They should be reversing that. Now, if they do that, this could be a route for the Ravens, but I went with the Cowboys simply because I just don't trust that they're going to go that route. And I think the Cowboys will be able to do some things offensively to get enough points. I think Dak can not throw he's going to throw probably one pick in this game. But I think if the Cowboys have to be able to run the ball to be able to get,
right,
for this get to win this game.
right.
That's why. But I did go with them solely because I think I don't trust the Ravens offensive line.
That's that was the same thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Cowboys just because I feel like Micah will take over this game.
Yeah.
I feel like if we know that, I'm assuming the Ravens would know that and allow Derrick Henry, who even spoke about wanting to join the Cowboys.
Yes.
I'm expecting this to be like, hey, Derrick, and it's in Dallas. Let's go home. Let's allow you to go to your home where you wanted to play and show them what they're missing out on. So I'm the same way they're not expecting to give him the rock like that. I'm expecting for them to feed.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for that.
We'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting. That's one to keep an eye on.
So we both split here on Detroit and Arizona. I actually like what I'm seeing out of Arizona, even after what we talked about with Kyler and the comment he made about Marvin Harrison Jr. I just think with the Lions and how they lost last week, I'm expecting them to come back and be the Lions that we anticipate them to be. Getting after Kyler, doing what they need to do to handle business. If not, and Malik Willis is able to keep that boat afloat down there in Green Bay, Detroit could be looking real shaky.
Yeah, you're right. I chose the Cardinals for the simple fact of watching the last few weeks with Kyler. He is playing with a slightly different mindset. Basically, more mature. But even in the comment that he made, it was more structured around, I'm going to get the ball to the open guys. I'm operating in the offense, meaning I'm taking charge of what this offense is. And this offense goes through me.
Yes.
And how I distribute the football, if I roll out of the pocket, if I run. And in his play last week, it pretty much spoke to that. He was playing like I hadn't seen. He looked like the Kyler in high school. If you ever seen his high school film. Yes. He looked a lot like his high school self, even his Heisman Trophy Oklahoma self, where I'm dictating the terms here. So I think as he goes, they will go. So if he does continue to distribute the ball, they get Connor running, and getting the ball to Harrison and not waiting to the second half. They could be very explosive when you got a quarterback with his dynamic and being able to run the football.
Right.
And he has weapons.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so I wouldn't going into the season. I wasn't going to pick against the Lions in this game, but I think Kyler is playing like a game changer right now, and I think that could be especially against that Lions secondary that's still trying to work out some of that youth itself. I think that's where they can be exploited.
All right, next up we got the Chiefs and the Falcons. We both went to Kansas City. I guess it's nothing really needs to be said with Patrick Mahomes, but no, I actually anticipate this being a game of Patrick Mahomes with Pacheco now out.
Hmm.
I think 6 to 8 weeks. If I'm not mistaken, with a fractured
Yeah.
fibula.
Yeah.
Uh, the Chiefs, I'm expecting them to exploit some of these deficiencies on this Falcons defense. Now they
Yeah.
played. We already talked about how well they played the Eagles, how locked in they were. Kirk
Uh-huh.
finally getting some primetime victories. I'm just anticipating the Chiefs being too much for the Falcons.
Yeah, same here. I think with Pacheco going out, you're going to see more focus where you will see a lot more of Rice, Worthy, uh, what's it?
Schuster,
Schuster. Yeah, you're going to start seeing what's his name? Hendershot, who they traded for, along with Kelsey. Schuster, you're going to see
yeah,
more of the weapons being used in the passing game, quick game, to supplement not having Pacheco. You could see a lot more
yeah.
of the dump off runs. Didn't they get a running back that they liked? I can't remember his name. The kid, yeah, that's the kid I mentioned. I think
Steele, Carson
out
Steele.
of UCLA.
Yeah,
Yeah. He has that kind of mindset that he run. You know,
he runs hard.
he's
He
gonna
runs like
run
a
like
fullback.
Pacheco. Yeah, he's gonna
Yes,
give you that running style like Pacheco, not necessarily his style, but his attitude when running the football. I think you'll
right.
see that physical run game will still be there, but I think you'll see more of the passing weapons used all around now in the short and quick game.
All right.
Mhm.
The Jags and the Bills, we are split on here. I'm actually shocked, bro, that you went with Trevor. Um, I think this one is in Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh-huh.
I'm just expecting Josh Allen to be too much for their defense, honestly. The way that this defense is playing right now, they're coming off that hot game against the Dolphins, all those
Hmm.
turnovers. This defense is flying around and flying to the ball. Von Miller is looking like he's trying to turn back the hands of time.
Hmm.
Like I said, we've seen Josh Allen in week one. We've seen his cast in week two. I think we're just going to continue to see a mix of it moving forward. And I think it starts here with the Jags.
I chose the Jags simply because I think one, they're due. Two, the losses that they have been more about being self-inflicted than it has been about being outright beat, just beat on the field. It's been about execution. They lost those games because they didn't execute late down the stretch or they made mistakes like the fumble on the goal line that Etienne had. I don't think that the Bills have enough weapons outside of using Allen and Cook. They still haven't gotten Coleman, and he hasn't really acclimated fully into the pro game yet. uh, this could be the week, but I just think the Jags make enough plays here and they win this game because I think they're just gonna have too much of what is it called? Now I'm losing the words. Um, too much. It's too much demand basically right now. They need a win,
Oh yeah,
and
it's
they
too
know
much
that
pressure.
yeah, too much pressure. One, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they rise to the occasion is what I'm saying because the last two games, if you look at their the two losses is basically more on them than it is the
Then the other
fact that the
teams.
other team beat them. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they blew those games. They should be sitting here undefeated right now if they didn't mess themselves up. That's why I'm like that it's there. It's just they got to, it's get over that hump.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, this is the game I see the Jags getting over that hump.
So finally, we got the Bengals and the Commanders. We're split here again. I went for the Bengals just because of the heartbreaking loss, how they lost against Kansas City.
Hmm.
Joe Burrow was actually playing well that game, and the Commanders' secondary is missing its pieces. It doesn't have what it needs yet to run this Dan Quinn scheme. So
Hmm.
and T. Higgins is potentially going to play.
Okay.
So Burrow will have his weapons. I'm expecting him to utilize them.
Okay. I expect Washington to run the football with Brian Robinson Daniels to once again continue to contribute to that part. I think he continues to be efficient and make enough plays because though we know that their secondary, the pieces as you mentioned, the Washington have, they do have enough weapons offensively to score points on this Bengal defense.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Bengals did play the Chiefs very difficult last week, but I think Washington actually sneaks and gets a tricky, a sneaky tight win here, field goal late.
That's all of them, man.
That's all of them, brother. I could take that down. We like to thank everybody. We're going to go ahead and switch over and we're going to do our college picks here. But before we do that, I'm going to close out the show and we'll bring it back that way, brother. All right.
All right.
So what I do, let me take that down and I can just do those things there. But we like to thank everybody. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Pro Football Talk, Double D's Let's Talk Ball podcast. And we'll be back with you with our college. Let's talk college.